Yeah, he'll never get a fourth ring on our watch.
Yo. What's up? What's up? Coming to you live from Titletown, USA, aka Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Oh, our boys got their rings on Thursday night, so we're definitely feeling like champions today. Oh, our Eagles got their rings. We will be talking about that later on today. But right now, I'm rocking out. Right now, it's the controversial trio. Right now, it's me, it's Amina, and it's Trey for the second straight week. Let's get it, y'all. Go ahead, Amina, reintroduce yourself.
Hi everyone, it's Amina reintroducing myself to you all on this nice Saturday. We have some nice topics to talk about, so let's get started. And yes, the Eagles did get their rings yesterday on Thursday. They're nice, they're beautiful, they're silver and green. That's all. A little touch of black in them too.
And then the man with the plan, and Trey, I promise, no jumping today. That's an inside joke from last weekend. But no jumping. I promise you, no jumping today, Trey.
All right, yeah. No jumping for you today, Colin. What's up, everybody? Good to be back on the podcast again. Uh, and yeah, Colin mentioned before he went on air that Kawhi Leonard kind of shook up this podcast. So we'll see how this podcast goes.
All right, y'all. As we always do, we started this off with our crossover hot takes. That is where we talk about, the sport. This is where we get the crossover part of our name. We talk about sports, politics, culture, stuff that's going on in the news that's been happening throughout the week. Today, all of our questions are all sports related, but they also intersect with some culture and some politics. So let's get right on to it. All right, y'all. For those of you that don't know, today Philadelphia and not today, but towards the end of the week, a leak happened in which it came out allegedly that Brian Colangelo overruled other people in the Sixers front office, that they were a little nervous about taking Markel Fultz after a workout, after they had traded up to get the number one pick. They worked Markel out. It didn't go well. Some people were saying, hey, let's bring in Alonzo Ball. Let's take a second look at Jason Tatum. Let's be sure here. But Brian Colangelo was so sure of himself that he wanted to take Markel Fultz. He kind of Jerry Jonesed it and just said, I'm stuck in my ways. We're not taking nobody else. No second looks, no nothing. So, with that knowledge, y'all, do you think did this leak show that some people in the front office of the 76ers did not want Fultz? Did this leak that some people in the let me read the question right. I'm sorry, y'all. Did this leak that some people in the front office of the 76ers did not want Fultz? Doom him to not having a good 4 years or more in Philly. So do y'all think this is doomed Markel Fultz and once again has put a target on his back this season in his sophomore season? Go ahead, Trey.
No, I don't think so. I was listening to, I think it was Colin Cowherd right last night on the Herd, and a point he made, and I agree with him, is that um, I was never high on Markel Fultz from the jump. I knew he was going to be a solid player. I think this year is kind of a wash. I think you'll see that he's going to be a solid player, with a full training camp, and he's fully healthy. There was speculation that he was fully healthy at some point last season, but he'll have a full training camp and everything this season. And as long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to be a very nice addition to the team. However, he's not. I don't think he's a superstar. I think he's going to be just a really good scorer. Like, he's going to be a really good scorer. Maybe as a young guy, he'll be a solid defender because he's athletic. He got some semblance of athleticism, but I don't think them not wanting him it doomed him. Now maybe he heard word of that, and maybe that was the whole thing with his shoulder and then confidence. Maybe that whole confidence thing had something to do with maybe him hearing from somebody or seeing something online that the front office didn't want him and Colangelo did. But I think now that you got Colangelo out the door, and there has not been one rumor whatsoever about Fultz being traded. I mean, you've got fans saying, "Oh, we could trade him for so and so, for Kawhi or whoever." But there hasn't been any leaks from the Sixers saying that they're looking to move Markelle Fultz. Um, and unless they do, I don't see any reason why Markelle Fultz won't come out and play well and be an addition, a needed addition to the team. Now the question is whether or not he can be, whether or not he can really shoot consistently, right? Because that's really what the Sixers are missing, right? And if he can really shoot and be at least, uh, a good young point guard who's athletic and can score, then I think the Sixers are in a good position, and we know they have cap space to sign somebody. So, but and then something else that Colin Cowherd mentioned. He mentioned that can't even that this and again I agree with him that by not drafting Jason Tatum, the Sixers really missed out big time because, I mean, if you watched the playoffs at all or you watched the Celtics at all this season, Jason Tatum is a bona fide, he's going to be a bona fide superstar for the next 10, 12 years. And imagine if the Sixers had Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, and Dario Saric coming off the bench, and the compilation of whatever guys they add or trade for this offseason. Plus, how could LeBron James look at that team and say, "I don't want to play there"? Right? I'm forgetting Joel Embiid, Saric off the bench, Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons. How could LeBron look at that and say, "I don't want to play there"? I mean, he would be stupid to look at that and say, "I don't want to play there." Now, I do think the Sixers have a good chance of getting LeBron James, but all signs are pointing right now, at least, with this whole Kawhi Leonard news, that it looks like we're gonna have a trio of Kawhi, Paul George, and LeBron possibly in LA. So to answer the question in a sentence, no, I don't think this is dooming him to a bad 4 years in Philly. And I think if they don't trade him, I think he's going to be a solid addition to the team. And I think he's going to play. I think he's going to have a good NFL career and have a good next 3 or 4 years, whatever it is his contract is.
Mina?
Trey basically said everything that needs to be said. Great statement, great analyzing. I'm gonna add my own little piece just briefly, because like I said, Trey said mostly everything. Markel Fultz, I don't believe he's a star player quality. Like, you watch stars on these teams throughout the years, and you know who has the potential to go far, go high, get it all, take it all. And I don't believe that Markel Fultz is that caliber of player. I believe, like Trey said, that he's good at defense, but as far as being on the roster, he's not a starter in my opinion. He's more of a bench player, and people know that when you enter the NBA. I mean, you go through the draft, you go through pre-draft workouts, you go through tryouts, you go through physical um physicals by doctors, you go through interviews, they check your pre-NBA resumes from high school and college experience. So they all compile that information and see where you fit. And some people just don't make it. Some people do make it, but they don't go where they want. I believe that they knew that, from the jump. Like he's not A1. He's great at what he does, but he's not the type of player like Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons is on the team. He's not. I mean, dude is okay. He's wonderful, but I can see why they tried to not make him be a part of the team. But then again, it's wrong because it's like they conspired against him, which isn't cool. And it all ties into with this mess that's been going on. Since this Colangelo mess came out with these burner pages, I'm starting to wonder, it's a good thing that Colangelo is no longer the general manager because this may be one of the things that he ran off to go tell his wife about how Markel Fultz wasn't this, wasn't that. So hey, it's just very interesting how as time moves on, more stuff is coming out about the Sixers, about how their front office was talking about their players, whether they're still on the team or not. And it's like, wow. And then it's bad publicity as well because with all this going on, it impacts everything. I mean, the draft is on the freaking 21st, which is 5 days from now. It's next week. All this mess that's coming out is going to impact it. Sixers got like 6 or 7 draft picks up. Um, would you want to come to a team in this condition with this stuff that keeps leaking? I probably wouldn't. I would probably take my talents elsewhere due to it. I wouldn't want to be found to be talked about behind my back too. Just bad publicity, just bad public relations, just bad for your brand. You don't want it to be attached to your brand that you're talking about your players. Like your players make your brand. Your players make your team. Don't do that. So, Markel Fultz, he'll be all right, but it's unfortunate that he was being talked about behind his back. And I would, if I was to find out who was talking about me behind my back, I would sue them for defamation of character and slander. Get me some nice money and move on about my life. That's just me. Kylan, your turn.
I'm of the mindset that Markel Fultz can be a really good player as borderline superstar. I don't really share the opinions of Colin Cowherd because he hasn't had a good take on the Philly sports team in forever, and I'm not going to start agreeing with him now. Yeah, I feel like I've watched enough college basketball, and I've seen Markel Fultz be good enough in summer league last year. And I see potential to be a superstar. Now let's be real. Nobody comes out. Most people don't come out already a superstar like a Joel Embiid, like a Kevin Durant, like a Ben Simmons. They were tailor made based on their physique and their personality to come in and take over the league right away. I feel like Markel Fultz is kind of like how Steph Curry was. Now, is he anything like Steph Curry? No, but Steph Curry didn't come in the league gangbusters and start being Steph Curry. He had to develop. He had to stay under the wing of a good coach. As long as Brett Brown's there and Brett Brown has shown to have good player development, I believe that this will be his year. I believe this will be his coming out party. I believe a lot of the Sixers problems, like Trey said, will be alleviated by Markel Fultz having a good full season. And unless they somehow find a way, and there are rumors that the Sixers are looking to trade up. I'll tell y'all in a minute why I think that has a lot to do with Kawhi Leonard and needing a higher pick than number 10 to get him over here. I have always said that Kawhi Leonard, this is a little bit off topic, was coming here I don't care about these Lakers rumors. We already know that Greg Popovich is not going to trade him to the Lakers. It's not happening. The second thing outside of that is you have that with Markelle Fultz, like Amina said, and like Trey said. I'm kind of glad Brian Colangelo is no longer here to Jerry Jones this organization. We do not need this organization to become the Dallas 76ers, where one man who has way too much power is controlling everything and screwing the franchise. You know, I've been killing it with the metaphors lately. Chip Kelly last week, Jerry Jones this week. I'm just, we've been on a roll with these metaphors, but I don't need that. So, like I said last week, Brian Colangelo, Jerry Colangelo, the Colangelos as a whole have a lot of success, but no championships to show for it. I mean, if you count your championships and gold medals, then yeah, the Colangelos deserve your respect. But Brian Colangelo has shown that he can't run a stellar top 5 organization. Now, this is no knock on the Toronto Raptors, but they're not a top 5 legacy franchise in the NBA like the 76ers are, and it just shows that he couldn't run a big organization. You can't have burner accounts. You can't be leaking in a city like Philadelphia. It just can't happen. I'm so happy the man's gone. I think Markelle Fultz is not doomed. I believe if he gets a chance and they don't trade him and the Sixers do not bow down, whether they trade for him or they trade for somebody else, as long as they don't bow down and give up on Markelle Fultz, because I think that's the worst thing to Trey's point that you could do to Markelle Fultz. Trade him away, send him somewhere like a San Antonio or LA or somewhere else where he can develop under a really, really good system, and you allow him to truly become a superstar in another place. I feel like he needs to stay here. Does not have to be trade bait, because I feel like he's one of those players, like I just said, like a Steph Curry, who if you work with him, if you help him develop a shot, if you help him develop more basketball IQ, because he has really good basketball IQ. I mean, lost in this whole season was that this was the youngest player in the history of the NBA to get a triple-double. He beat Lonzo Ball to it. So he's a good player. So if you can develop that, as long as the issues with his shoulder are fixed, I believe he can be a superstar player. I just believe it's going to take work. It's going to take more than 4 years for him to really be a superstar. But moving right along, will the ineptness of the Colangelo administration continue to plague the 76ers? I'll start. So far, it is continuing to plague the 76ers. Now, I'll let you know next week when they draft or they trade, because I feel like you're going to see some movement on the trade front and on the Kawhi Leonard front this week, because the draft, like Amina said, is Thursday. So you're going to see some movement on that front. If the Sixers can either get the pick that I think they want, and we don't have any draft questions, so I'm going to just say it right now, I believe, and this is what's really going to determine this, whatever the Sixers, now there's rumors coming out. I don't know if Trey or Amina heard these rumors, but they're confirmed rumors now that Brett Brown is looking to trade up to get a top 5, top 4, top 3 pick, right? So I believe, and I said last week or the week before, Amina and Trey can help me out, help me remember what I said. But I said before, if they stayed at the pick, they were going to take Mikal Bridges, the Villanova product, and if they traded up, they were going to get Trae Young. So right now, I'm looking like Kai Stradamus right now, because the Sixers are trying to trade up, and everybody knows that when the Sixers try and trade up, they're trying to trade up because they have identified somebody that they really, really want that they think won't be there at 10. And Trae Young fits that bill. So I feel like they're either trying to trade up to get, and this is completely off topic, my bad, y'all. But I think that question, like I said, will be answered this week. If the Sixers can't make a move and they wound up either drafting, staying at 10, not getting Kawhi Leonard at the end of the week, not having some movement come the end of this month, come July 1st, I believe this question will be answered Thursday, and then I believe it'll be answered Sunday, July 1st, 2018. So if the Sixers can't trade up and get the pick that they want or trade for Kawhi Leonard on Thursday, and if they can't get a LeBron James, a Paul George, or a big name free agent by the second week in July, then yeah, the ineptness of the Colangelo administration has really destroyed them. But the Sixers can still, if you're a free agent, I don't understand. If you're a free agent or a draft picks really have no choice. So if you're a free agent and you're saying no to wanting to play with Ben Simmons in his second full year being healthy, Joel Embiid in his third year, if you say no to that, you don't deserve you are obviously clearly blind, right? So this question will be answered June 21st and July 1st. If the Sixers in July with no big pick and this team is still the same and all they've done is re-sign JJ Redick, kept Marco Bellinelli, and didn't do much, then yeah, the 76ers were destroyed by the Colangelo stuff. But if this team could be even a player better, then it wasn't destroyed and it didn't matter. Go ahead, Trey.
As far as what the Sixers need to do, and I don't think that the Sixers are going to have trouble, doing whatever they need to do in terms of trades. I think where their struggle is going to be is attracting LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard, or not Kawhi Leonard, but I hear what you said something, Kylan, and I think it's partially true. Kawhi Leonard wanted out of LA. Greg Popovich, we know, typically likes to hold on to players for a long period of time. Like he's had a similar group of players for the last 15 years. He had Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and then another a compilation of a lot of foreign guys, because that was the type of basketball he played. And so the whole thing about Kawhi Leonard, because he has to be traded, and wants to go to the Lakers. Would they trade him to the Lakers? Would they trade him to the Sixers? I don't know. But I think that a trade for Kawhi Leonard works more in their favor than LeBron James signing in free agency. So I think their ineptness, I think, will be in signing free agents and not in terms of trading up, or trading for whoever it is they want, whether it's Kawhi Leonard or anybody else. And as far as the draft, in my opinion, I think if they're going to trade Fultz, then I think they're probably going for Trae Young. If they're not going to trade Fultz, I think that Mikal Bridges fits a lot better. And in my opinion, I'd rather have because I think Trae Young is a very good young player, and I think he's going to have a good career. But what I see him being is kind of like as a kind of a bulkier version of Steph Curry, but I don't think he's as good of a shooter. So I think you'll see. I think maybe a better comparison would be something more like Lonzo Ball. I think Trae Young will be something like that. I think Trae Young is a little bit better of a passer, and we have yet to see whether Trae Young would be a better shooter in the NBA. But I think Mikal Bridges actually fits a lot better because he's what I think Mikal Bridges has a career that's going to line up similar to what Kawhi Leonard is as a player. Really good defender, can shoot, that type of thing. But as far as ineptness, I see their fault. The fault that the Sixers will have this offseason is not being able to trade up in the draft, whether they trade any of their players or just other draft picks. Their issue is going to be in attracting free agents, because although playing with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and whoever else they have looks nice for LeBron James to come here, you need You need veterans, right? We know that LeBron James typically likes to play in places um, with veterans, right? And he tends to butt heads with younger, um, inexperienced, immature people. Now I don't know. I don't know if he would clash heads with Joel Embiid, but we've seen it in Cleveland with J.R. Smith. We saw it in Miami with Mario Chalmers, where he tends to butt heads with players who are, although even if they're old, kind of on the older side or what you would consider them veterans, he'll butt head with them because they're immature. So LeBron is looking for free agency and looking at free agency, looking at where he wants to go. He's looking for, okay, where are one the best players going to be, and where do I have the best chance to win a championship? And two, where are um where are the veteran players that I know I'm not going to butt heads with? I know are going to do their job on the court, and I don't have to worry about them making, you know, boneheaded plays like J.R. Smith running the clock out. Um, and and as far as the Sixers go, like I said before, if the Sixers had drafted Jason Tatum, LeBron James, and anybody else that might want to come to Philly would have a hard time saying no if you have Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Dario Saric, Robert Covington. Maybe you bring JJ Redick back. It'd be hard to look at that team and say I don't want to play there, especially if you can bring LeBron James and maybe Paul George there to the team, right? Um,
Go ahead, Amina.
I don't hold on. I don't think the Colangelo time will continue to play the Sixers. It's with anything else in sports, whether it's professional or collegiate. I I I use this as an example for the situation with the Sixers with Colangelo. It's not on the same level as them, but it's on a more grand scale. I think of it like the situation that happened at Penn State in around 2011 when it broke in the media with Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno and all that. It happened almost 10 years ago when it going on like 7 years ago when it broke in the media and the school is now actually no longer in recovery mode. It's actually in bounce back mode now. The school has been able to come back from the daily nonstop media frenzy that was on that campus for a good 2 or 3 years straight. People are starting to want to actually apply to that school again with pride. So I think this is going to be like a situation like Penn State with the Sixers, how people are going to move on from it, and the Sixers will gain back their trust with potential players, and people are going to be able to be happy to come to the team and not have to have Colangelo and what he did in the back of their mind. It all comes down to whether or not you actually want to be a part of the team. It's a team effort. It's not a one man show. So it's still fresh for some people concerning what Colangelo did, but others have said, you know what, he resigned. He's no longer a member of this organization. The new season starts in October. Let's move forward. Let's move along. I'm going to sign to this team. I'm going to be traded to this team. I want to be drafted to this team, or whatever the case may be. And I want to be a part of this organization because I respect the team's history and what they stand for. So I don't think it's going to permanently impact or any negative way for the team. It's just a bloop. I mean, sports teams have always, over the years, had situations go on. come on, and they always come through. Sure, they have the little moment where it's the media frenzy, but it eventually dies down, as I mentioned. But this is just a little bloop, just a little situation, but it's not plaguing the Sixers. I mean, they got a few draft picks up, and they're trying to get higher draft picks to trade for it. So they're trying to move forward from the Colangelo years, and it's apparent. So I don't think it'll play the team. I don't see why it would or it should, but I see the team coming through and starting their new season in October with a smile on their face and saying we're going to go further than the second round in the playoffs, and that's what they need to tell themselves. And get out there in the court and do it. Just win each game, win the game, move on to the next one. Win the game, move on to the next one. Just keep it going. That should be their focus, and not this mess.
All right, before I let Troy go, I just want to address something about what Trey said and Cal and Kyle heard in a way to respect. Like, I just feel like had the Sixers, I feel like this, man. I feel like I really, I used to like Colin Cowherd, but he's like Mike Wilbon to me. He just rings anti-Philly bias whenever he talks about a Philly team, and I can't take his point seriously just because of that. And he I just because all right, let's take that scenario. They have Jason Tatum, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the Celtics are fully healthy. So they have Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, everybody else minus Jason Tatum, and we have Jason Tatum. Let's just say that it switches. They have Markel Fultz. We have Jason Tatum because either one was either going to Philly or Boston, right? Let's say we got Jason Tatum. They got Markel Fultz backing up Kyrie Irving off the bench or doing whatever. I still think that that I still think it would have been basically the same thing. It still would have happened the same way regardless. We would have met them in the second round or third round, whatever, maybe even Eastern Conference Finals. And it still would have been about the same thing. Either we lost or we would have won. It would have gone 7 games. Because Boston and Philly, let's just be honest. That's the next part of the Eastern Conference. This is why I have such a problem with that argument. Because if you're telling me, I would just say it, like, if you're telling me he's going to LA, Kawhi Leonard or not, why would he go to LA? What has Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, and that young core shown that would help him? There's no veterans, unless you're telling me Julius Randle, that there are no veterans on the Lakers. Why would you go to LA? I keep saying this. Why would he want to go to LA and lose to the Warriors even sooner, right? When he could come to Philly or Boston, unless you're telling me he's going to Boston, then there's no other team out there other than the Sixers that makes sense for him to go to. And I keep saying this. It only makes sense. I don't want him here. Trey knows that. Teroy knows that. Amina knows that. I don't want him here. But it only makes sense for him to come here because you got Joel Embiid for the next 5 years because he just got a new contract. You've got another 2 years of Ben Simmons and probably more than that. He can come here. He can trade. Basically, this is what y'all have to look at, right? When you're thinking of what LeBron James is going to do. LeBron James is about to be 34 years old. And I keep saying this. LeBron James is hitting that hill. You saw it in the finals this year. He just ran out of gas. After game 1, it was over. He ran out of gas. Broken hand or not, he was running out of gas. You could see it when he was facing the Celtics. He ran out of gas because he's 34 years old. He can't be playing 40-plus minutes anymore. And that's what's going to happen to him in the Lakers. Like, on the Lakers, that's what's going to happen to him. But I keep saying this. If he comes here, he can chill out. I'm not saying he can take plays off, but he can relax. He can be on the bench because you have 2 young lions to ride. You have Ben Simmons. You have Joel Embiid. You have Dario Saric, if you want to count him too. And he can just coast. He can't do that on the Lakers. Whether they get Kawhi Leonard, Paul George or not, because that's chemistry. they've gotta mesh with whoever they don't trade to get Kawhi Leonard. It's just too much. It's too much of a chemistry thing for me to believe that I'm not one of these people that believe as soon as Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and LeBron James come together, if that happens, that means the Lakers are going to the finals. There's too much that happens for that to happen. Like, I just think that, to be honest, the 76ers make the most sense because that's two young lions he can ride. Unless you're telling me right now, and I want somebody to answer this question, who can LeBron James count on that they won't trade on the Lakers? Brandon Ingram? What's he showing you? Lonzo Ball? What's he showing you? Kyle Kuzma? And what's he showing you? Like, come on now. I just can't believe, because for LeBron to come there, he needs that somebody who he can count on that's young, a la Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, or somebody that he can ride and be his second. And I don't think that second's there. If the Lakers have to get a Kawhi Leonard, a Paul George, and the LeBron James, then that's saying that clearly they don't have a superstar that LeBron James can clearly say, oh, I definitely want to play with that guy. I definitely want to play with that guy. I keep saying this. If you are a free agent this year and you have a choice between whatever team you want to go to at the Philadelphia 76ers, you should come to the Sixers because, listen, that's the next. No, I have yet to hear somebody say the Sixers aren't next in the Eastern Conference. I've said it on this podcast. Most of us have said it on this podcast. The Sixers are next. They're the next team that's going to dominate for the next 10 to 15 years. So if you're telling me that and you're a free agent, LeBron James, LeBron James, Paul George, Chris Paul, or anybody else, and you have a chance to come to Philly, and you can't look at this, and you can't look at what's happening here, Brian Colangelo or not, and honestly say, yo, I want to play there. I know that they're a player away, and I believe I can be that player. Then you don't belong in Philly. Like, if you can't see that the Sixers are one player away from being able to compete consistently, then you don't belong here. If you're LeBron James and you go to the Lakers and you choose to lose to the Warriors even earlier, then that's your problem. Like, the Sixers, I believe it's better for the Sixers to draft and lose out on this year's free agency because, listen, like I said, give me the teams if you're looking at somebody, LA and Philadelphia, right, or Boston, right? Like, there's only really two teams that you can come to. You can either go to Boston or you can come to Philly because those are two teams that are going to compete. LA, if you got to bring in three superstars, then you're 20 years away from competing. That's what that just means to me. I mean, one of y'all can respond if you want to, but I'm going to let Troy get in on this. Troy, go ahead and answer the last two questions unless Trey got a response. But go ahead and get in on Markelle is doomed to, based on the leak that happened earlier that Brian Colangelo overruled everybody. And then if you think the Sixers are going to, keep being haunted by this Brian Colangelo stuff. Go ahead.
What was the first topic? Outside of what was the one you said before Colangelo?
Do you think because we found out that Brian Colangelo kind of Jerry Jones did and chose Markelle Fultz as his chosen player instead of looking at other players like Jason Tatum and Lonzo Ball again last year, based on that information, do you think he's doomed to not have a good year here in Philly, or do you think he can rebound? And then, the second one about will they keep being haunted by Brian Colangelo?
All right. Actually, I'm actually a big fan of Markelle Fultz. Like, I don't know why people want to trade him. I mean, he was hurt all of last year. At least he played. At least he came back and played. I'm a big fan of him. I think he'll get it together. I don't think he'll be. He probably won't start because of Ben Simmons, but he'll be a good six-man off the bench. Even though I think he should start. He definitely is like really the only person on the team that can really create their own shot, and he showed flashes of that before the playoffs started. Like, even though he had one bad game in the playoffs, I was kind of upset Brett Brown didn't play him more because we could have used him in the Celtics series. Like, we could have used somebody to create their own shot. That was our problem. Half the years we couldn't find nobody to create our own shot when we went on them little cold sheets where we couldn't shoot. So I like Markelle Fultz. I don't necessarily think we'll be haunted by it. I mean, at some point, every stupid general manager does this. But at the same time, I think he's going to be a good player. Do I think he'll be better than Tatum? Possibly. It's only year one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tatum can have a bad year next year, get hurt or whatever. You don't know. But I think Markelle Fultz will definitely rebound. I think he'll have a nice career if we decide to keep him. I don't think the Colangelo thing will necessarily haunt us or hinder us. Because at the end of the day, we got a good team, and we're only a few pieces away from the national championship. Like if it was me, I'd rather have Paul George than have LeBron, just because I think Paul George is tailor made for our system. Like, I don't like the fact that he's not clutch, but we just need him to score, so that way we don't go in these little ruts. Because if you look closely at the end of the playoffs, we had the same issue that the Celtics had in Game 7. Like, when the games get tight, who's our closer? We don't know if it's Ben Simmons. We don't know if it's Joel Embiid. Like, we don't know. So that's why I feel like we need one of those players, so that way we know exactly who the closer is until Joel Embiid can grow into that role. But as far as us being haunted by Colangelo, I don't see that at all. I don't see that happening. Like, I think it may be in some people's minds, but as far as like us being haunted by it and not be able to get free agents because of it, no, that's that's not a factor.
All right. And Trey, do you have a response to what I just said earlier, or you good?
Are you talking about as far as like where will LeBron go?
Yeah, I mean, if one of y'all got a response to what I just said earlier, I know it was wrong.
No, I mean you're spot on with it. I agree with you. Like I don't. Why would he? I mean, why would they want to come to LA? I mean, even if Paul George and LeBron go to LA, they're not winning the championship. They still all they're gonna do is lose to the Warriors or the
And he'll
Rockets.
be in a fight with LeVar Ball constantly.
So it's no point for him to go to the Lakers. I mean, I can see him going to the Sixers. I don't want him on the Sixers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they because Kyrie said he's not going to sign the extension. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to trade him because he's talking about he wanted to go to the Knicks anyway. Trade him, get some value for him, have LeBron go there. Bam. That's what I would do if I was Bron. I would go to Boston because they will probably trade. They'll trade Kyrie in a heartbeat. Don't let it fool you. You can get Terry Rozier for cheaper. You could trade Kyrie. I'd do it.
Trey, you got something, or you good? You might be good. Okay. Matter of fact, let's just get down to this. We can tackle Tom Brady and them later. Our last yeah, our next to last one for the hot takes. The Kawhi Leonard stuff, guys. Y'all reaction to Kawhi Leonard trying to get out of here and where y'all think he should go? I mean, do you actually believe that despite what happened and all the bad blood between the Lakers and Spurs, do you really think Pop will trade him to the Lakers? Where y'all think he gonna go? Go ahead. We can start with Amina. Go ahead, Amina.
Um, Concerning Kawhi Leonard, let's go over this. Kawhi Leonard was his draft year was the 2011 draft. The Spurs picked him up, and he's been at the Spurs ever since. This is his only team. He's the face of the franchise since he took over from Timmy D years, and this is not a good look for the Spurs if he ends up leaving. Now that loyal, diehard, lifelong San Antonio Spurs fans have found out he has even the mere thought of hightailing himself out of Texas, they have now started to burn his jerseys online and videos. It's, it's not going to be great if he leaves that team for the franchise. It's not the Spurs. They have been at the top of their game for like the last 20, 25 years. I don't. The Spurs have been at the top of their game so much so that they haven't been in rebuild mode honestly since before I was born, and I'm 24. So the thought of the Spurs having to rebuild, finding a new star player of his quality, it's like, whoa. I know for a fact that they won't make it to playoffs without him. They barely got there this year. So imagine if he's not on the roster and they try. It's not gonna happen. They're not. They may finish the season at a ninth, 10th, or 11th seed at the least. He's also, if he leaves the team, he's leaving $219 million on the table with, I think it's a 5-year new contract that they want to give him. You got to think about that. You got to think about if he's trying to leave, what team is he going to go to? Because the NBA is not set up like it was in the 90s, where talent was spread out, where you had a large pool of championship team contenders. And it's only like maybe four top teams right now. And right now, teams that are on top of their game, they don't necessarily need them. They really don't. He has a lot going on in his head. I think him and Coach Pop need to sit down and talk before he does anything to see what's going on moving forward, whether he comes back next season or he goes elsewhere, because this is ain't gonna be great. This is just not gonna be good. And I don't think he wants to be the new team hopper in the NBA because that's attached to your legacy even after you retire. So he left that team after being with them for 7 years, and he did this, that, and third. You don't want that. And his dignity too. If he goes somewhere, he needs to go somewhere where it's not going to be a stench on his career record. So if he does go somewhere else, I only see him maybe going to the Sixers. And if Paul George decides to stay in Oklahoma City, I do see him going there. He would have to put up with the ball hogger known as Russell Westbrook, though. But I see him going there, and that's about it. I only see him going to Oklahoma City or the Sixers. I don't see him going to the Lakers. I don't see him going anywhere else. Maybe Boston if they're willing to let go of one of their star players on their starter list is a third possible option. But other than that, I don't see him going anywhere else. But it'll be a very interesting off season to see what he does because whether he stays or goes is gonna be interesting. But it's gonna shake up the Western Conference for sure if he does end up leaving the Spurs because, like I said, I don't see them making the playoffs without him, which means that the playoffs are going to be different for this coming season. Somebody else will be taking the Spurs' place in the playoffs, and I wonder what team that possibly could be in the West at this point because it's only a few teams that make it to the playoffs in the West the last few years. So I wonder what team will replace the Spurs at this point. But Kawhi Leonard, please make a sound, good judgment. Don't do nothing crazy. Do what's best for you, of course. Pray on it, but just don't be jumping uh, out of emotion. Just think about this, man. A whole lot of people are going to be looking at you this off season to see what you're going to do.
Trey.
Um,
Um, oh, you say Trey or Troy?
Trey. You,
Oh,
Trey.
um, and well, I kind of mentioned what I think about Kawhi, the whole Kawhi Leonard situation earlier. Um, I can see how you would say that Greg Popovich wouldn't trade. Um, he wouldn't trade Kawhi to the Lakers because that's where he wants to go, and maybe that's not, maybe they don't get the assets back that Greg Popovich wants. Um, but you very well could have a situation where Greg Popovich says, okay, that's where he wants to go. We'll get the best possible assets we can back from the Lakers and a trade for Kawhi Leonard. Um, but right now, Kawhi Leonard is doing what players should do is if they're not happy in a situation or a particular team, make it known. And because what he's doing is he's setting himself up for success in terms of being able to go where he wants because he's before and before anything has come up, that he wants to be traded or that he wanted to be out, he's saying, I want to go to the Lakers. Now it could be a situation where the Spurs trade him somewhere where, or they put him in they put Kawhi in a situation where, you know, you got to choose between so and so teams, right? But if you look back at like for example the Kawhi, not the Kawhi, but the Kyrie Irving situation in Cleveland, he picked out, I think it was 5 different teams that he said he would like to go to, and I don't believe Boston was one of them, or if Boston was one of them, they were at the bottom of the list. But Cleveland still made a deal for him to go to Boston. With Kawhi Leonard, he says he's only given them one team. He says LA. Now, are there other teams that maybe he would want to go to? Possibly, but I think he really, really wants to play in LA. And I don't think he'd be happy. I mean, maybe he could be happy somewhere else, but it's clear that he feels the best place for him to go and where he would be happiest and most likely to play his best is LA. And I can't see Greg Popovich and the rest of the Spurs organization saying, just to spite Kawhi Leonard, we're going to trade him somewhere where he doesn't necessarily want to be. Because if that's the case, if they're like, well, we're going to trade him somewhere where we can get better assets back, but he may not be as happy, that team is not going to want to give up, their best asset to get Kawhi Leonard because they know that he doesn't want to be there. So, and this is why I think Kawhi Leonard did for himself. He did the right thing by coming out and saying, I want out of San Antonio. And not only saying that he wants out, but saying where he wants to go. And what he did was he puts the Spurs in between a rock and a hard place, where they can either trade him somewhere and not necessarily get the best asset, and just kind of do a salary dump type thing, or they can trade him to the Lakers and get the best possible asset they can from the Lakers, and Kawhi Leonard is happy. And as far as how this affects, if he does go to the Lakers, and I think he will, I think if Kawhi Leonard goes to the Lakers, I think other people come to the Lakers, i.e. Paul George and probably LeBron James, because and if Kawhi Leonard goes to the Lakers, Kylan, you mentioned earlier about Kyle Kuzma, Alonzo Ball. I think Kyle Kuzma, Alonzo Ball are packaged in a deal with maybe a future draft pick to get Kawhi Leonard or somebody, So I don't think you have that issue. You talked about LeBron James, Kylan. You mentioned LeBron James and how he's hasn't hit the wall yet. He's getting closer to that wall. I hear you, but I don't think he's as close as people think he is to that wall. I think what happened in this finals is I wouldn't say LeBron James gave up. Maybe he did to a certain extent. I think what happened this finals is that LeBron James, he constantly gets in situations where, and maybe he does it to himself, maybe it's not. He constantly ends up in situations where there's not enough talent around him. LeBron James is, he's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. He's the greatest player of this era, probably, and maybe even the greatest of all time. And constantly, LeBron James is left to carry the load of an NBA team and take that team not only to the playoffs, but to the finals and win. Right? And for the last 8-9 years, he's brought his team to the finals, regardless of who was on his team. Because in the regular season, the regular season is a different monster, and we know that, So I'm getting off topic, but the point is that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron James, in my opinion, with whatever young players or whatever the Lakers have, I think is a better team, or not necessarily a better team, is a more appealing team to LeBron James because they're more polished. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are more polished players, and LA is more enticing because LeBron James has already established his legacy than Philly. If LeBron James goes to Philly, he's opening up a new door of legacy, right? When people like I'm trying to think, Gary Payton and another guy, Wilt, these guys went to LA, they had already, their legacy was there, right? LeBron James his legacy is established. He's top 5 of all time, probably the greatest player of this era, probably the greatest athlete ever. And for him to go to Philly, he's kind of opening up a new chapter of his career. And I don't think LeBron has a new chapter to his career. I think if the chapter of his career has been that for the last 10 years, since he's left Cleveland, for the first time he left Cleveland, was that he wanted to win championships. And not that he couldn't do that in Philly. The best place for LeBron, I think, and this is why this is connected to Kawhi, is that Kawhi wants to go to LA, and I think that's going to draw LeBron there.
Troy?
When Kawhi didn't play the whole year, like I knew right then and there he wasn't coming back. Like an athlete just doesn't play the whole year, and the organization talks smack on him, and then all of a sudden he wants to sign the max money. Like so I knew he wasn't coming there. I knew he wasn't going to stay. Him wanting to go to LA is interesting. I don't think Pop does it. Like that's just, I think Pop would trade him somewhere east. I think it'd be like a more of a Paul George situation, but better assets. Like if I'm Boston, I'll trade Kawhi for Kyrie straight up. It's the same thing pretty much. It's not like you're really hurting. You got Kawhi, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Rozier, Gordon Hayward. I mean, you're going to have a log jam at the 2 and the 3, but you can make Tatum play the 2, Leonard at the 3, Hayward at the 4. If you're playing small ball, Horford at the 5. They're interchangeable parts. I don't think he's going to get traded to LA. I just don't see it. I don't see Popovich doing something like that. That's like I'll put it like this. That's like the Patriots trading with the Steelers, like trading one of their best players to the Steelers for what? Like the Steelers second running back on the depth chart. I just don't see it happen. I don't know where he's going to go. There's a rumor out there that Sacramento may be willing to give up the second pick to get him. That would be stupid, but that's Sacramento. I just don't see exactly where he can go though, or where he can not only where he can go, but who's actually going to want to take him for a year. It's going to be interesting. What if Kawhi goes to the Cavs and then LeBron decides he wants to stay with the Cavs? Maybe you do a Kawhi for Kevin Love and what else you got? Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. But I just don't know. I don't think he's going nowhere out west. I just don't see it happening. I don't think Pop wants to deal with him 4 times a year. So I don't see that happening. I definitely see him staying in it. I definitely see him going to the East though. I just don't know where exactly. But he's definitely not coming back. It's over. It's a wrap. They're going to get rid of him. If I was them, I'd trade him during the draft. But they might wait a little longer. But I would. He's definitely going to leave.
I'm just gonna say, and I'm mad. And Trey had to go because they're having a cookout for his brother at his house. But I feel like I keep telling people don't count out the 76ers because I don't think you guys can't count out the fact that Brett Brown, he was in the San Antonio. He was a San Antonio Spurs assistant for going on almost 20 years. He knows that organization in and out. And I keep telling you, I think the 76ers are in a position where, like I said earlier, they're one player away. And I think that the Sixers have enough to get Kawhi Leonard and entice Greg Popovich to trade. Because like I said, really all it comes down to, I'm mad, like I said, Trey had to leave. But as we found out, as the day got later and later, we found out that this is not Kawhi Leonard. Actually, Kawhi Leonard and Pop haven't talked yet. This is his team leaking this. The San Antonio Spurs were not informed about this through Kawhi Leonard. Basically, Kawhi Leonard has not met with them face-to-face and told them he definitely wants to go to L.A. What we found is there's some infighting in the camp because some people, I'm guessing it's in Kawhi's family, want him to go to L.A., some of his people, the people closest to him, want him to go to the Knicks because they feel like that would be better for his career. I guess they're worried about the legacy and what happens when you form a super team. And the Sixers are on his list. There the Sixers, it's the Knicks. I believe it might be the Celtics as well. So there are a bunch of teams on this list that Kawhi has. It's not just LA. It's just that LA is the number one destination. And I believe that the Cavaliers showed you a roadmap to doing this. The roadmap is you trade them you trade that player out of your division, and you trade him, if you can, outside the conference. And I believe that I'm with Troy. I don't think that there's too much rivalry and bad blood for that to happen, where they'll trade him to the Lakers. That's just my personal opinion. I believe he'll either come to the Sixers or he'll come to the Celtics. So once again, it's a competition between the Celtics and the Sixers, between who can have a better package. And like I said, don't count out the Sixers, because I don't think it's a coincidence that, this rumor just happened to drop, and then a couple hours later, we're hearing that Brett Brown is trying to trade up to get a top 5 pick to, I believe, try to entice his old boss to give him Kawhi Leonard. I think that, I'm not shocked like Teroy. I mean, I knew when Manu Ginobili, Parker, and Greg Popovich started doing the hit job on Kawhi Leonard, saying, "Oh, you have to ask him and his people," and Tony Parker was all like, "Well, I had the same injury." Once you started hearing about this misdiagnosis between the Spurs and the Kawhi's camp, once you started hearing that Kawhi was working out with the Sixers doctor, that was his second opinion, I knew it was over then. That, like, I said this on this podcast a couple weeks ago. I say he's either going to the Sixers or he's going to the Celtics. He's not going to be in the West. I just want y'all to understand. I'm sorry, Lakers fans. Once again, I'm going to rain on your parade. I don't think you're getting him. I don't think you're going to get him. I really don't. I think that if you get him, it'll be next year, because I just don't think that Greg Popovich has lost his mind enough to do that, to help the Lakers. Rivalries are still real to people like Greg Popovich. And for Kawhi Leonard, I mean, like Trey said, good for you, man. Good for you for standing up. I think a lot of people discounted. I didn't. I think a lot of people discounted the fact that, Kawhi was so unhappy, because you could see it on the bench. You could see his unhappiness. You could see the fact that different outlets were reporting that he was not happy, that the Spurs were saying we're a family, but they're killing him in the media and not keeping it private. I knew it was over then. And so I'm not shocked that, now he's trying to leave, and now the Spurs are all like, oh my God, where did this go wrong? Because if you remember, and you can roll back the tape, I said on this podcast before that, and outside of it, that them killing him online or in the media was not going to help them in trying to re-sign Kawhi Leonard. And lo and behold, he doesn't trust them because of this misdiagnosis and them killing him in the press. Lo and behold, who would have thought? And I just, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'll use the old Batman quote for Greg Popovich. You either live long enough to die a hero, or see yourself become a villain. And right now, Greg Popovich, you're the villain because you're the author of your own destruction. I mean, why in the world would you give Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili permission to kill your superstar, who is not the type of person that you talk about in public? He's a private man. You notice he never killed the organization, but the organization killed him, and now he doesn't want to be there anymore. Who would have thought? Oh, you kill somebody online, and now he's gone. Who would have thought? No. Kawhi Leonard. Moving right along.
Hello, Colin. I do have something to say about your. The only reason why I didn't say so much of the Sixers is just because I'm not certain if he'll sign a long-term extension here. So I'm not certain if the Sixers are going to be willing to give up all those assets just for 1 year. That's the reason why I didn't say the Sixers. If it was certain that I feel like he will sign an extension, because he could, I say it's about like a 60-40 chance that he wouldn't sign, like a 40-60 chance that he would sign an extension. But until I get more guarantee, that's why I didn't say the Sixers, just because I don't think the Sixers would be willing to trade away their assets for somebody that might not stay past that.
And I get that. I get that. But the reason I'm going to say why I say the Sixers have the best chance out of everybody to sign him is because they have the Brett Brown factor working in his favor. And I believe that Brett Brown can convince Kawhi Leonard to say, try it out, sign the extension. And again, like I said, who wouldn't want to play with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons? I keep saying you can sell him on being the final piece. You're the final piece to help us dominate the Eastern Conference. I believe that'll be enough. But like Teroy said, I mean, we'll see if the Sixers are willing to do all that for possibly a 1 year rental. But hey, I mean, the Celtics did it. Why not? Why not them too? So moving right along. Let's see. All right, we're gonna skip. We're gonna save the Tom Brady one for later. Do y'all agree with Miles Garrett that KD ruined the NBA? Go ahead, Amina. Defend your boy.
Kind of funny. Miles Garrett, whatever. Kevin, this goes back to last week, towards the end of the episode we had last week, when we was talking about super teams. I think it was last week, and how we was discussing how people that are diehard Bron fans, which we affectionately call Bron they don't know nothing about the NBA beyond 15 years ago. And this just goes to show that people don't know the history of the NBA. This has been happening. I explained this. I I explained it. Kylan explained it. Matt explained it last week. There has always been situations like this in the NBA since super teams started to form in the 50s in the NBA. 60 years this has been going on. I don't understand. Do people do people know the history? Do they research? Do they study? Do they read NBA encyclopedias? Do they read information? Do they watch old highlight videos on YouTube? Come on, like Kevin Durant did not ruin the NBA. Like, where are people getting these false accusations from? Even LeBron James did something similar to this back in 2010 when he had to his butt out of Cleveland the first time to go join up with the Miami Heat with D Wade and what you call it, Ray Allen and all them over there. He did it. Nobody said he ruined the NBA. I think it's a secret hatred that people have for Kevin Durant because he went to a team that went 73-9 in the regular season. How Oklahoma City they got ran out of the playoffs by the Warriors, and how people think that he's a fake. No, it's like any other job. If you are working at your local fast food restaurant, a retail store, or a rinky dinky office job in your city making whatever amount of money, and some opportunity comes to you to work for Google, Apple, Amazon, some Fortune 500 company in Silicon Valley, your conscience is going to tell you to take the opportunity because it's not going to come to you ever again. And that's what he did. Him joining Golden State would have never happened again for him. If he had stayed at Oklahoma City, you still would have had no ring. Like, come on. He did what was best for his career. If he stayed at Oklahoma City, he would have still been running around with Russell Westbrook, the ball hogger, and doing nothing. You're supposed to want your career to progress, to increase, and to succeed. Like that's what he won. That's what he got. Now he got two MVP trophies from the finals this year, last year, and he got two rings now for winning the finals. Kevin Durant did not ruin the NBA. Like I'm trying to understand people's logic, but I'm not. The reasoning, I'm not getting it. Sure, it shook up the Western Conference is as of last year concerning postseasons, but that's about it. Like it's not his fault that the other teams in the West, 14 of them, all suck. It's not his fault that the players on the other 14 teams can't seem to make it to a final. It's not his fault that they can't get rings. It's not his fault that certain players bail on their teams during playoffs. It's not his fault that certain teams don't play have any playoff potential in the West. Not his fault that certain teams don't have no potential to make it to a final. Maybe if they had the same work ethic and stayed in the gym and doing practices like the Warriors do constantly throughout the week, maybe they would have the same chance to get to a finals. There's no reason why other teams can't do what the Warriors do. No reason why. Every team every year starts at the same level, 0-0, no wins, no losses, and teams just give up on themselves. They just don't care. You can't have that mindset in the NBA. No, he did not ruin the NBA. He made it better. He made it more exciting, more entertaining, but he did not ruin the NBA. You can't ruin the NBA when other teams are not putting up an effort to go far and succeed. You can't blame this on one man for doing for himself that which his old team would have never allowed him to do or be. He did what was best for him, and he continues to do what's best for him. He's a lot happier now than he was in Oklahoma City. Because I remember watching them games, he was not a happy camper on that team. He has more smiles on his face. He has a more carefree spirit now, and the Warriors fit for him, his personality. Can't be mad at one man because he don't want nothing to do with another team. And no, he did not ruin the NBA. Like I said, you can't ruin the NBA. Get your teams together.
Roy?
He ain't ruined the NBA. I mean, people forget in the 80s and 90s. The only reason why people say he ruined the NBA is because there aren't as many, in my opinion, real bona fide superstars as there was back in the 80s and the 90s. During Jordan's era, shit, almost every team was a super team pretty much. You had the Knicks, you had the Bulls, you had the Lakers, you had the Celtics, you had the Pistons, you had the Blazers, you had the Rockets. Want to know why they ain't won championship? Because of Jordan. There's just more talent back then than there is now. But no, he ain't going to the NBA. They almost lost. They almost lost to the Rockets, even though everybody always says, "Oh, with Chris Paul when they got hurt, the Warriors." But they probably Iguodala never got hurt. Probably in the next series. No, he ain't ruined the NBA. Because the matter of fact is, if Kevin Durant doesn't hit 2 shots that he hit in game finals in game three and the year before in game three, we're probably looking at a series, both series going six to where Cleveland has a shot. So no, he ain't ruined the NBA. People just aren't using their talent wisely enough. And everybody says he ruined the NBA, but LeBron did the same thing. Everybody says it's different because he went to a 73-19 that were that just lost a championship. But and LeBron went to a team that didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, but he didn't go there alone. He went. He Chris Bosh was at least what a top 5 player in the league at that time, or top, at least a player in the league. And then he went with Dwayne Wade, and he was in the East. So therefore, he took three like the top players in the East pretty much on one team. And you're going to tell me that he didn't do the same thing? But my opinion, what he did was worse, in my personal opinion. Because at the end, when Kevin Durant sit there and say, I'm going to go. Golden State came. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I'm working. That's like if I'm in school right now and I hate ESPN. ESPN want to offer me $1 million contract. I'm not going to say no. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna take that job. So everybody's just getting mad because the Warriors are just basically they want to say one shot through the league, but that's not necessarily the case. Because the Rockets had a chance to beat them. They had game day fall all year to get home court advantage, and what they do, they choke in Game 7, point blank period. They choke because you had a double-digit lead. They choke. It's that simple. So now here in the NBA. If anything, it's I want to say it's more competitive, but it's more entertaining to watch, in my personal opinion. So Westbrook, Kevin Durant, more entertaining. Because Russell don't know how to share the ball. That's why he lost to Carmelo Anthony and Paul George. You know what lost in the first round. I just refuse. I refuse to believe. I would tell that you have in the roster along with Steven Adams. Like you don't lose. So he did right. He did what's best for him, and I got no problem with him doing it. I do feel like he is. He's more. Uh, that needs to prove it. But you got to mention, just keep winning. And for LeBron, was trying to compare to, it's not the same move. It is just Golden State can recruit KD. LeBron got two others. Because a lot of people forget, he really ain't want Chris Bosh. He wanted Carmelo, but Carmelo didn't want to go because Carmelo wanted his money. Sorry about
Let me just say this. For those of you, first off, I know that they're football players and Miles Garrett and everything, but he need to worry about helping the Browns rebound and not worry about what's going on in the better league and in the better sport basketball. Here's what I'll say about this, right? I said it last week, I said it the week before that, Troy said it, Amina said it, we've all said it. If you're one of those people saying that Kevin Durant ruined the NBA, you are ignorant of your sports history. I don't care how long you've been watching basketball, because if you've been watching basketball long enough, you know that super teams form. It's basketball. What did you think the Celtics, Bird Celtics, Magic's Lakers? What do you think those were? Now it's a little bit different because they drafted those players and then traded for Magic, but it's literally the same thing. Super teams. Most of these teams were built. Then they got one superstar via draft or via trade, and they became better. Larry Bird played with Kevin McHale, a lot of other top five players. I mean, the Celtics and the Lakers have had most of their history is nothing but super teams. You know, recent history, the Boston Three Party. What did you think Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo were? Super team. What did you think Kobe's last championship run, those Lakers? What did you think that was? Him, Paul Gasol, Andrew Bynum. Super, you know?
90s Bulls.
What do you think the 90s Bulls were? Super team. What did you think the Bad Boy Pistons were? Super team. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all need to stop. I mean, listen, like Teroy said, I know the talent was spread out back then, but we're in a different era. This is the players' era of basketball. And it will keep being the players' era of basketball until a new CBA is reached. Like, I think what most people forget is how restrictive the NBA was when Jordan, Bird, and Magic played. I mean, Michael Jordan retired because Jerry Reinsdorf would not give him his money. I think most people forget why Michael Jordan retired, because a lot of people keep writing stories about how it was the gambling problem that retired Mike. No, it was Jerry Reinsdorf's selfishness that retired Michael Jordan the first time. You know, it was that. And it's a well-known fact that Michael Jordan wanted a super contract but couldn't get it because Jerry Reinsdorf was selfish. You know, I think y'all forget how restrictive the NBA was. The NBA is not as restrictive as it used to be. It's more progressive now. So players have more power than they did. I can't believe that we're actually to a point where some people want that era back. You know, let Kevin Durant have his choice. He didn't ruin the NBA. Miles Garrett needs to worry about how the fact that every time the Cleveland Browns get mentioned, I turn the channel because they're just an atrocity and a dumpster fire to football. Worry about the Cleveland Browns and the eventual dumpster fire that will be the Cleveland Cavaliers after LeBron leaves. Worry about that. Don't worry about the Warriors in the NBA. Worry about the NFL. Moving right along, and speaking of that, all right, guys, our reaction because this broke last week and we didn't talk about it. Your reaction to Julian Edelman getting suspended for 4 games for steroids abuse or whatever it was, failing a drug test. Go ahead, Troy.
I laughed. I'm sorry. I know I'm not supposed to laugh. That's not, the proper thing to do, but I laughed. I was just sitting there going, like, the Patriot way, that's correct. And, like, it kind of falls into the hands of Alex Guerrero, in my opinion. 'Cause I believe Alex Guerrero was I think he was his trainer or something like that, if I remember correctly, during that time span. He's trying to, it just gives more ammunition for Bill Belichick over Tom Brady, my personal opinion. See, this is why you should have chose this is why you need to stick with our trainers instead of the TB12. Because I guarantee that wouldn't have happened if he did it the Patriot way. And I feel like he's going to appeal it and he's going to lose. And now I'm sitting here, and now you're sitting here looking like that Brandon Cooks trade might be looking kind of bad now because you got a wide receiver for 4 games. If he's going to miss 4 games, like who do you have? He's already coming off the ACL injury. So he's not even really going to be 100% back to he's a year old. What happens? So, I mean, I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. Excuse me. I thought it was funny, just because things like this never happened to the Patriots, and now all of a sudden things are starting to happen. These things are starting to happen to them. So I'm just sitting there going like this. It's funny to me how all this is happening at once, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do for the first 4 games, to see how they try to get their offense going, because they were really relying on Julian Edelman this year, especially with Brandon Cooks gone, and now you don't have him for the first 4 games. I mean, they'll probably figure something out and probably go 3-1, because the NFL gave them a bone. Their schedule ain't too hard, but it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Amina? Amina, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It just goes to show it's the NFL. They do what they do. This is not the first, second, third, or 1,000th time. Uh, these NFL players, they do what they do. They be on narcotics, domestic violence, sexual assault, convicted felons. They just don't care. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what's going on with these. And for you to be on the Patriots and you doing this, like, dude, like, ain't you supposed to be helping your boy Tom Brady out? What y'all saying? Why you do this? Mm-mm-mm. It's gonna be interesting seeing the Patriots this season. I wanna know what they record on this season. But stay off the narcotics, you NFL players. This happens every time. Every time y'all be getting on these narcotics, y'all end up getting caught up. It happens. It seems to happen right around the same time y'all have to get those physicals throughout the year, and y'all get that urine and that blood tested. Y'all get caught every single time, and y'all don't get it. I don't know what's up. Just stop it. Don't do that. Mm-mm-mm. 4 games. Clap clap.
I really, it's just funny. I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny because it's the Patriots. But it just seems like ever since Lane Johnson got skewered for saying the Patriot way doesn't work, it's not fun. It seems like something happens every month that proves Lane Johnson right. Now we got players saying it wasn't fun playing for the Patriots. Now we got this with Julian Edelman. It's really showing that the Patriot way doesn't really work now. If you're not Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, or Bob Kraft, doesn't really work out for you, does it? I'm not shocked. about it. I should say, you know, like Troy said. I mean, he was working with Tom Brady's doctor, and one of the reasons why Tom Brady's doctor is no longer allowed near the Patriots anymore is because a lot of them thought that he would get them in trouble, make them fail because a lot of his methods were very archaic, so that he would fail a drug test, or the players would fail a drug test, and lo and behold, Julian Edelman fails a drug test. Who would have thought, you know? And uh, you know, like Amina said, stay off the weed. To quote Stephen A. Smith, stay off the narcotics. I mean, I guess eventually, you know, Julian Edelman to be traded because they're also talking about trading Rob Gronkowski. I mean, it really shows that maybe the Eagles killed the Patriots dynasty. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, that kind of goes into, speaking of killing the dynasty, that kind of goes into our next question. So, are we witnessing the end of the Patriots dynasty? I'll start. For me, yeah, like I just said, I feel like we are. I mean, they're trying to trade Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady is doing interviews with Oprah, and we'll get to that in a minute. There was a while where Tom Brady didn't know if he wanted to come back. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles might have just killed the dynasty. I mean, I don't know what the Philadelphia Eagles did, but it seems like they kind of destroyed the Patriots' confidence. It seems like the Patriots might have come in there a little overconfident, thinking this was the 2004 Philadelphia Eagles, and they got checked and they got destroyed. They got hit in the mouth, and they just never recovered. I mean, I think the Patriots, I think I said this after the Super Bowl, they're used to teams folding after they go on, a la the Golden State Warriors, that big second half run, and they get the lead. They're used to teams folding, and the Eagles just didn't fold. And Zach Ertz killed the dynasty. Brandon Graham killed the dynasty. And the Patriots have been falling apart ever since. I mean, you know, and then before that, just to do more non-biased analysis, there was you had the whole thing with Bill Belichick being mad that Garoppolo was traded because Tom Brady went over his head to Bob Kraft and begged and pleaded to get Jimmy Garoppolo out of here. And now if anything happens to Tom Brady, which it might, because Tom Brady was taking a lot of his last year, and a lot of his get to you, especially when you're 40 years old. So if something happens to Tom Brady, I mean, who's their backup? It really seems like after Tom Brady, the Patriots are screwed. I mean, like, it's kind of like, I love LeBron. I like LeBron James. But it's kind of like what happens when LeBron James comes to your franchise. He comes, and then after he leaves, he kind of screws your franchise. That's kind of like what Tom Brady did to the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots, it seems like, are dead. And I really do believe that the dynasty is over, especially once they trade Rob Gronkowski, because they really don't have a reliable wide receiver outside of Rob Gronkowski, especially now that they traded, or now that Julian Edelman is suspended. And who knows, he might, a la Lane Johnson, he might fail another test and be suspended 10 games. So who really knows? I mean, go ahead, Troy. But yeah, before Troy answers, the dynasty is over. Go ahead, Troy.
The dynasty's over. In my opinion, the dynasty never really began to begin with. I mean, if you take a look at it, they got lucky. Seattle threw the ball on the 1 yard line. They got lucky. Matt Ryan decided to choke. If you look at it, if they don't do that, then what they do? They lost their last 3 Super Bowls. So Tom Brady's not, he's revered, but not as revered as people say he is. Like the Patriots have gotten, in my opinion, lucky more than skill in their Super Bowls. The first Super Bowl against the Rams, I give them that. Second one against the Panthers, I give them that. Third one, they got lucky. T.O. was hurt. If T.O. was healthy, we win that one easily. I'll always believe that, and that's just not even non-biased. He was out there balling on one leg, and then they got lucky against the Seahawks. They definitely got lucky against the Falcons. People don't know how to run the ball to run the clock out. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's been more luck than skill, in my opinion, when it comes to the Patriots. And you're right. When the Falcons, they showed they were made for a moment when the game matters the most. You run that much and then make a run. You still don't know instead of running the clock out. And then with the Seahawks, you're throwing the ball on the 1 yard line and running them with beast mode. Russell Wilson be the face of the franchise. Like, what? No. But that's the offseason. You don't do that in the Super Bowl. So when they made their run, we kept up with them and we beat them because they couldn't stop our offense. And for some, our defense decided to have like the worst the worst day of the year, and we still end up winning. So that just shows to show you how poised that team was to begin with. They had all the pressure. We didn't have no pressure. But they had the pressure. The dynasty get lucky more than skill, and they contribute built to be, and when they are, they have the easiest division, man. But yes, to answer your question,
Amina?
Is this a reference to the Patriots dynasty question, or are we still on the other stuff?
No, we're on the Patriots dynasty question. Go ahead.
Got you. I gotta agree with Savoy about how they got how I most definitely give Tom Brady his early Super Bowl wins. He's got a 5-2 record, won five, lost two. I give him his early Super Bowls, which is wins, which is the first three of them. It's the last two uh, is by chance. Like he really just gripped them up and got them by the heat of the moment. Everyone has their own definition of a sports dynasty and what it means and how it started and its place in whatever perspective league that they're in. And when I look at the New England Patriots, since Tom Brady got drafted in 2000, which is 18 years ago, I look at a team that was formed. They drafted everyone early on back then, and people have left the team, and Tom Brady's still there. Um, Dynasty right now they are the dynasty of the NFL of this generation for the last 18 years, of course, yeah. But when I research NFL history, when I look it up, read information, all that, before 2000, the Patriots were never on anyone's radar. Like, they were an okay team. They either got to a playoffs or didn't. Nobody really cared. But Belichick came in, Brady came in, and everybody else came in, and here we are, the dynasty. So it, it, it was it's a interesting situation how this team came about. I don't think the dynasty has been totally killed at this moment. I don't want to give it 100% that it has. I would have to see Tom Brady rebound in another Super Bowl. I would have to see him go to another Super Bowl and win one and win it. Like, I'm not totally convinced that it's killed because they still got firepower. It's a complex situation. I don't think it's totally been killed because he's never lost back to back Super Bowls or more than one in a row. Like, so I would have to see him, like I said, win another Super Bowl. Like, he would have to go to one next year or the year after for me to really tell if he wins or loses that one. But Dynasty Kill, I can't really say that it's killed, in my opinion. Like I said, that Super Bowl in February, it was not a blowout. It was not the Super Bowl from 2017 with the Falcons. The Falcons, that was a blowout when the Falcons hurt and the Patriots won that. So I don't see a dynasty killed over just one Super Bowl from the Eagles. I don't see.
Okay. Well, moving right along. Our reaction to the Capitals going to visit 45 if the invitation is extended, and why would the invitation not be extended? Because it's the NHL. Uh, Let me start. I can answer this question in 2 words. Not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all because, like I said last week, the only teams that visited 45 last year were the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New England Patriots, and the Houston Astros. 3 teams. Let's go through the teams that were absent from that list. And I believe the Clemson Tigers go. Clemson might have gone last year too. So 4. But let's go through the teams that weren't invited. The NBA didn't go last year. They're not going to go this year. The NFL didn't go this year. Last year, the WNBA didn't go. The NCAA didn't go. So as far as the ladies college basketball, people didn't go. I don't know if UNC went last year. I don't think they did. I know that LeBron James has talked about how over the last couple of years, he said this before, will wind up being the Cleveland Cavaliers funeral in Game 4. He said that nobody from the WNBA had been invited. The Minnesota Lynx had won the last 2 titles. They weren't invited. So, I mean, you see a pattern here. I mean, the diverse teams don't go, and the teams that are very homogenous go. And the teams within the conservative sports leagues go. I'm not surprised. Congrats to the Washington Capitals on winning their first title. I'm not surprised that they're going to go. And I'm happy for them. And I don't care whether the players are black or not. If you go, that's your choice. But black players, I would highly encourage that you see what this will do to your platform. You want to go as a team, then go. But he said a lot of different things about your brothers and sisters in the NBA and the NFL. I don't know if I would go if I were you. Because a lot of people look at the Washington, D.C., like I've heard people debate and say, well, why wouldn't you go? You can go and get a conversation. I think people fundamentally misunderstand what a visit to the White House is. The visit to the White House is nothing but a photo shoot. There is no conversations that happen, no conversation of substance that happens when you go visit the White House and you're going as a sports team. You're going to give that man or give that woman eventually their jersey. You're going to take a picture. Maybe you say, hi, how you doing? You make some sports references. That's about it. Nobody sits down and says, hey, 45, here's my list of people that I want part, and here's how I think you can move on criminal justice reform. That doesn't happen when you go to the White House as a sports team. Just doesn't happen. Go ahead, Troy.
I agree with you 100%, but I have a different reason. I mean, to me, I knew they was going to go just because they're in DC. Like, that's a bad look for you to win the title in DC and then not go see the president. So I knew, in my opinion, I knew they were going to go. They're going to go. They're obligated to go, in my opinion, because you can't. That's like the Wizards. As much as the Wizards wouldn't have gone and they would have won, they would have went because it's DC. Like, you can't be in the state and not go see the president. Like, as much as I don't like Donald Trump, that's just how I view it. You can't be in the city where he resides over, where he's living at, and you can't go see him when you win. That would be it'd be a big mess than what it would be to begin with. But do I think the whole team will go? Probably. Do I think the whole team should go? No. But I don't know if they have any black people on their team to begin with, because it's not a lot in NHL to begin with.
They do. They
They
do.
do.
They have brothers that said they're not going.
Okay.
They
So
have they have a few black players on the team.
I like I said, I wouldn't if I was them, I wouldn't go. But with them living in DC, it's kind of hard for them not to go if that makes any sense.
Oh no, I get it. It would be like if a Philly team won and the president's from Philly, whether you agree to go or not, you're obligated to go. Kind of like what happened when the Cubs won and they were obligated to go before Barack Obama got out of office. No, I get it. Go ahead, Amina. Amina, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was taking myself off of mute. Um, hold on. Capitals scored a visit 45. Typical. I expected. I mean, it's the NHL. It's not the NBA. It's not the MLB. It's not the cow. It's not 30 of the 32 NFL teams, and I'm mentioning the Patriots and Cowboys. It's the only two teams that will go see him. It's the NHL. It's the main big sport league that will go see him. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, when people think of Trump, I guess they think of, hockey or whatever. I don't know what they think. But they didn't say they were not going. They were not vocal in rejecting his sentiments about certain things. And the NHL isn't as political as the NBA is. So I expect it. And just like Kylan says, nothing really goes on at these meetups between presidents and championship teams other than a photo op. They have a little conversation, take some pictures, talk a little, and they go home. It's not nothing crazy. And the Washington Capitals, they right there in DC. So to not go, it's like that would be like a real shock to the media. Like, whoa, they don't even have to fly. All they gotta do is just get in the car and just drive on over to the White House. It's that easy for them. So it'd be like, y'all are the Capitals. Y'all are right here. But it'll be interesting to see whatever they talk about comes out. But like I said, it's the National Hockey League. It's like NASCAR. It's to be expected. Nothing more, nothing less. Just to be expected.
Moving right along. Matt's not here to do his baseball thing, but we can talk about one thing. All right, y'all. So it broke that the next biggest Japanese star next to Ichiro, um, Shuhei Otani, I believe is how he says his name, has to have Tommy John surgery. So Teroy, Amina, you can jump in here if you feel like it. Did baseball kill a Japanese star? Go ahead, Teroy.
Uh, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know. In my opinion, it depends on his mental fortitude and if he's mental enough to come back. That's like an ACL surgery for baseball. Like it's hard to come back from that. It's going to be interesting to actually see what happens. I don't think they necessarily killed him. I don't think they necessarily killed it, but they definitely made it they definitely made it a lot more harder for him to come back. I think they should maybe scale back on some of his, but it's going to be it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think they killed him. I think he can come back, but it's going to be it's really going to be up to him, in my personal opinion, to see if he can come back. And if he come back and be the same player that he was, if he could be effective. So that's the main thing. It's one thing to come back. It's another thing to be effective.
All right, Teroy kind of answered it for me. I feel like I said, with Tommy John surgery, never really know in baseball. That's like the equivalent, as Teroy said, of having an ACL surgery, or in basketball having a foot surgery, like Kevin Durant did. It all depends on your determination as an athlete, and then you knowing your body. But Tommy John surgery, it usually takes you 2 years from recovering from. Now, I share a different opinion. I do believe the Angels kind of killed Shuhei Otani. I believe that they didn't adjust or calculate for how he's used to playing in Japan and his body adjusting to playing games more regularly in America in the Major League Baseball. I believe that kind of was his undoing. I believe the Angels probably could have managed him better. Now, am I saying that it's the Angels' fault? No, of course not. I mean, but I feel like he could have been managed better. And I definitely feel like baseball kind of played a role in killing a big Japanese star. And like Troy said, I mean, it depends on how fast he recovers. I hope he'll be effective because, like I said, Ichiro was basically a god over here and even more of a god in Japan. So I really hope that he can come back and really show that Japan is a pride place for baseball and superstars can make the jump over here. But right now the story is unwritten. Hopefully he will come back and come back stronger than ever. I definitely wish him well. So we're gonna move right along. All right, guys. I think the Lakers stopping Lonzo Ball and Kyle. Do you think the Lakers should have stopped Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma from roasting each other? Do you think Magic Johnson was being old, or does he know something that we don't by stopping Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma from roasting each other on social media? I'll start. I believe that Magic Johnson, Jeannie Buss, and the rest of the Lakers leadership team is playing the role of old man and old woman, get off my lawn. Because listen, I believe that online, even though I don't follow Lonzo Ball or Kyle Kuzma on Twitter, I guess I'm missing out. This is 2018, man. Y'all got to come to 2018. These are young players. I mean, obviously, they stopped this before we found out about Kawhi Leonard possibly coming there. The possibility that LeBron James will come here, which I believe still won't happen, even with Kawhi Leonard. But whatever. Like I said, it turns out they might have known something. But even knowing what we know now, I believe because for me, this is the most personality. Now, I haven't watched the Lakers all season that just passed because they come on West Coast time. 8 o'clock there is 11 o'clock over here. And I'm probably asleep or on my way to bed by the time they come on. But, I honestly have to say that this is the most personality I've seen Lonzo Ball show on and off the court. Kyle Kuzma, the only reason I knew him was because he was their best rookie and he was putting up numbers. But even he's showing some personality that I didn't know he had. And I believe they're definitely missing out on the opportunity because this is why we love the NBA. The action happens on and off the court. People are roasting each other on Twitter. People wear shirts on during their parade, mocking different players on the team during championship.
Let's go, Draymond Green.
This is the fun of the NBA. I mean, you have roasting in 2018. Who would ever think that even though the NFL is the number one, to some people, is the number one sport, and by some metrics, the number one sport in America, basketball dominates, whether it's June, July, October, and even beyond that. Basketball dominates. Why? Because of stuff like this. And Magic Johnson, J.D. Buss, and them show a fundamental misunderstanding of today's young people. Like I said, if Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, or PG-13 will let that stop them from coming there, then they're not the type of players you want anyway. I mean, come on now. Come on. Go ahead, Troy.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, but I agree with you. I I think it was smart for them to stop it. I think maybe Magic knew something was going to happen beforehand. I mean, I don't really know why they roasting each other to begin with. They both didn't really play that well last year. Like you need to be focusing on your game more so than trying to roast your teammate on Twitter. How about y'all go into the gym and roast each other about how to get a better jump shot or something? That, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I think it's petty, but I don't think it's nothing like out of the ordinary. It's nothing crazy. But I think Magic did the smart thing and stopping it before it got too far. I mean, because like I listened to a little bit of what they were roasting. They're saying some personal stuff. Like I may roast my friends, but I'm not saying no real personal stuff like that. So I think Magic and them did the right thing, especially with free agents coming around. Like, because in my opinion, it just looks as your team as immature. And does LeBron really want to go to an immature team? Does Paul George want to really have to sit there and cater to babies? So I think it was smart for them to do what they did and the timeliness that they did it and when they did it as well.
Amina?
Yeah, I'm here. I was taking myself off of mute. Magic Johnson, he played in the NBA the 80s and 90s when social media didn't exist, and a little bit of online platforms that did exist, they were nowhere near the magnitude that they are today. I just think that Magic Johnson is just showing his age and the fact that he's getting old and rusty dusty, and how the generation gap in the NBA is here. This is the social media age of this sports world, and I seen the tweets and the little posts that Kuzma and Lonzo were sending to one another. They really weren't talking about each other's career standings. They were really talking about each other selves outside the court, like personal lives, what they like, what they don't like. Lonzo Ball, his first baby will be born next month, so Kuzma said something about his miss, how he doesn't miss when it comes to that, but he misses on the court. Just petty stuff, like Rory said. Um, it's just petty. Just petty fun. I mean, I don't think they mean any harm by it. I mean, they're teammates, and I think they have a good relationship. They don't hate each other. It's just fun. I mean, what friends don't have moments where they just sit there and go in on one another? It happens once in a while. Can't get over it. Sure, some people's little feelings may be hurted, but after a while, they be all right. They just shake it off, laugh, and keep it moving. But, to keep it professional, I believe that they should just keep it down to a minimum, or not even do it on social media. Where they should just do it in person, like verbally. But to maintain the image of the Lakers and what the Lakers represent over the years, I think they should not have their name attached to social media roasts, because it does impact free. It's the off season now, so it may impact their free agency and draft picks. It may impact trades. It's a lot of variables. So just be mindful of what you say, where you say it, and how you say it, but still have fun and remain with the respect factor of it all. Don't disrespect one another, but just have fun and enjoy yourself. Loosen up. And it doesn't have to be a stiff ironing board. You can have fun, but still remain with the integrity piece of it. They'll be fine. They're young. Magic Johnson, please get up to the modern time. This is not old school Lakers time. This is not old school NBA. This is social media age. Get get with it or get lost.
Um, Go ahead, Mina, on the Nets. Well, this is kind of yes, no, and we kind of already answered this, I believe, when we talked about Kawhi Leonard. But will LA be a prime destination for free agents? Go ahead.
Predestined for with the Los Angeles Lakers be a destination for free agents. Possibly, I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with the Lakers this season too much. Been too busy worried about my own team, the Warriors. Um, I don't know where they stand financially. I don't know where they stand as far as cap space. But if they hypothetically, if they do have a lot of money to give away, then hey, maybe an interesting option or variable for people to come to. But I think what the Lakers do need is somebody, a veteran player that can guide this team into the right direction because this team hasn't been on point since Kobe was on their roster. He hasn't been on the Lakers in 2 years since 2016 when he retired. It would be nice to see the Lakers go back to the way they used to be in the good old days. So it'll be nice to see if they have a veteran come to be a part of their roster, not an old veteran, somebody that's in their 30s, still have firepower in them to do what needs to be done. And it'd be nice to have veterans from the Lakers organization be a part of their front office more than Magic Johnson is. I would like to see Kobe and Shaq more involved with this team going forward because this team needs to be rebuilt. It's not where it should be. It's not where it could be, and it's got to get better because they didn't make the playoffs this season. Uh, it was unfortunate, but if they do have the options of bringing people on, I say go for it. Take advantage of all the blessings coming your way. But this team does need help. It's a young roster, but a lot of young, inexperienced people. They need somebody that's experienced to come to LA and do what needs to be done because this team needs to bring itself back to the standard Lakers of the NBA. I don't know what this Lakers is that's out here today. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're doing. I don't recognize this team. So take advantage of free agency, the draft, and trade options, and get a veteran on your team. Not an old one, like I said, but one that's still got firepower in him to help y'all get going.
So Roy,
They can be a prime destination, but they have to get a free agent first. Like if Kawhi comes there, they can get maybe a Paul George and a LeBron, but nobody's just going to go there by themselves. It has to be either one or the other. And so the answer is yes and no. They can do it, but at the same time, they need somebody else. So they need a domino to fall their way, and then once the domino falls their way, they'll be able to get the other players that they need to get. Otherwise, they're not a destination because they don't have enough talent. It's that simple. They won't have enough talent.
I'm gonna agree with Teroy and Amina. I'm gonna say yes, they can be, but like he said, they're gonna need a domino to fall their way, and I believe that domino will not be Kawhi Leonard. But I think they can. I think in a couple of years, when Russell Westbrook, and I think that's next year or maybe the year after that, when Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love come up again. I've always said that I believe Russell Westbrook and Kevin Love are going to come together and be the saviors of LA. And I think that they're going to be waiting until then. But some of y'all are saying, no, you're crazy. Kylan, it's not going to happen. Y'all can keep saying that, but I don't think he's coming that way. I don't think really. I think the best chance they have against somebody to LA is Paul George, and now we're hearing that he might stay in OKC or come here to Philly. I think the Lakers are going to strike out once again, but I believe yes and no they can be, but like Troy said, yeah, they definitely need something to fall their way. Moving right along, and I'll start on this one. Carson Wentz said he would be open to trying to recruit LeBron. So do y'all think it could be any more obvious that LeBron is coming here? Now, as I said before, y'all know I'm on record as saying that LeBron James is a want, not a need for the Sixers. And for those of you, this is your first time listening, you don't know what I mean by that. I mean, if you think about this, and this is something that my dad taught me in financial terms, you have necessities, those are your needs, and then you have things that you don't necessarily need, those are your wants. right? So LeBron James is not a need for the Sixers. As Teroy has pointed out, the Sixers need somebody who can create their own shot and be a playmaker. So the Sixers, because the Sixers can go on these droughts where Embiid's not getting the ball, Ben Simmons is playing a little bit too recklessly for my taste, and nobody scores. And they have the time. They need somebody who can come in and create their own shots. Now, whether that's Markelle Fultz or another player to be added later, we'll find out. But I I believe that LeBron James is coming here. I believe Carson Wentz. But I keep telling y'all, there was a time, I don't know if anybody was paying attention, LeBron James is on record. They asked him who his favorite football player is. He said Carson Wentz. They asked him who his favorite NBA player was growing up. He said Allen Iverson. He's been spotted here. Now, I know some people say, well, he's been spotted in L.A. or his wife's been spotted in L.A. And you had the Gary Payton rumor that turned out to be false because nobody can verify it, that Brodny was going to a prep school with Gary Payton's son and being on that basketball team, but nobody's been able to confirm that. So, Carson Wentz saying, even though we didn't get to see him, I mean, this is what I'll say about that. Some people would say, well, Carson Wentz wouldn't lie to us. He said they didn't get to see him when they were in Cleveland. I think they saw him. I'm just going to be honest. I think they saw him. I think Carson would say, I didn't see him, is what I would expect him to say if he's trying to hide the fact they did see him. And like I said, after the Cleveland Cavaliers funeral, you saw Joel Embiid tweet, come complete the process, LeBron. So I believe that Philadelphia, the Sixers, via Ben Simmons and through other things, have been doing a shadow campaign with LeBron, and that is a wink, wink. He's definitely coming here. And because I have no other verification other than why else would Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz and Jeffrey Lurie fly the Eagles jet just to go to Cleveland for no reason? I mean, listen, you can tell me that they like basketball, but nobody goes to Cleveland even to watch Cavaliers game. Nobody from Philadelphia. Nobody. So I believe it couldn't be more obvious, and I believe that if the Sixers get in a room with LeBron James and they bring the Super Bowl champions with him, along with Embiid and Simmons, and they sell him on, come complete the process, come be a part of a winning culture here in Philly, come follow Iverson's legacy, come do what he couldn't, come do something that had to happen since Dr. J was a Sixer. Troy said, why would he come here? I mean, it's simple, man. The Sixers haven't won anything since Dr. J was a Sixer. Come complete the process. Come get your statue. Come be next to Allen Iverson and Dr. J as gods of the Sixers organization. I think I'd come here based on
1983.
But that's just me. Like I said, I think it couldn't be any more obvious that he's coming here. But go ahead, Troy.
I really hope he doesn't come here, but I think he is. But I really hope he doesn't. Just because I don't. Him coming here, granted, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want him here? I would much rather just have Paul George. A, he's younger. B, he's not as difficult to play with. C, he's not going to wreck our team when he decides to retire. I mean, people act like, granted, it has been true for the last 8 years. Any team LeBron has been on has been on the finals. But at the same time, let's put it in retrospect. If Kyrie is healthy and Gordon Hayward is healthy, there's no way in the world the Cavs get to the finals this year. No way in the world. They got lucky. Indiana choked in Game 7. Otherwise, they wouldn't have beat Indiana. So, I will much rather have a Paul George on my squad than a LeBron. But
I agree completely. But like you said, it seems like it's set up for him to come here. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I listen to a lot of ESPN radio for Orlando. They're saying there's a few teams that, the Sixers, can use him, but they don't necessarily need him. You can either play the long ball game, or personally, honestly, if it was me, if it was up to me, I will sign Paul George this year. Wait until next year and see if we could pry Clay away from the Warriors. That's just me personally, but I don't think they will wait. I will get Paul George this year, try to get Klay Thompson from the Warriors next year, and we set because we got a deadly shooter and we got another playmaker. And they both can defend to go with Embiid and Simmons and Fultz and Sarge. But that's just me. But he'll probably end up coming here, either that or the Lakers, or he might go to Boston. One of the three.
Why
Nina, go.
everyone keep trying to kidnap my man Clay Thompson? Why everybody keep trying to do that? Huh? Kylan, you there?
I'm here. Go ahead. Answer the question.
I'm just saying with the story because everybody keeps trying to kidnap Clay Thompson from my team. Stop trying to kidnap him. Um, the writing has been on the wall. If you're an NBA fan that's been paying attention to LeBron James for at least the past 2 to 2.5 years at the least, he's been dropping hints like me and Kylan have said for months now that he's coming to Philly. He's been dropping little hints there, dropping little hints here, and people just ain't been paying attention. And I don't know what more people need other than him announcing that he's coming here. uh, he had already said that his favorite NFL player right now is Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz heard that news and he's willing to do whatever he has to do to get him to Philly. His wife, Savannah Brinson, was here early this year looking at the schools in the city for their sons. LeBron was here with the oldest son, LeBron Jr., on the father son trip ahead of a game here. It was a Cavs and Sixers game, and it was a road game for the Cavs, so they came here. But before that, he brought LeBron Jr. here, and they went to go look at private schools in South Philly, and they got a actual enrollment packet folder full of information for one school at South Philly. Um, LeBron James has been in and out of this city for at least the past 2 years. Like I said, when he doesn't even have a game to play at the Wells Fargo Center, just going sightseeing. Like, why would he come all the way from Cleveland just to do that? The finals this season just passed. Members of the front office of the Sixers and one star player were seen front row at the Quicken Loans. What more do people need? That if that isn't proof in the pudding, I don't know what is. They were recruiting him. Why would they come all the way from Philadelphia to Cleveland, Ohio, to see a game that the Cavs were going to lose anyway? And they were not trying to recruit LeBron James. Like, come on, really? Y'all sent people from your front office and one of y'all star players. Like, come on. The man just needs to announce that he's coming to Philly, so all these ideas and concepts of where he's going could just be put to rest. Because quite frankly, I'm tired of it. All these teams, people say he's going to the Lakers, he's going to the Spurs, or he's going to Boston, he's going here, he's going there. And no, he's not. It's not happening. The man, the man loves the city of Philadelphia. He's been trying to tell people that for 2 years now. And Carson Wentz is now on board with trying to recruit him. It's happening, people. Whether you like it or not, the man is he loves Philly. What's the problem here?
All right, Amina. So to the next question: LeBron or when LeBron comes here, do you think he will stunt the growth of Ben and Joel? Go ahead.
No, I don't believe he will stunt their growth because they are the star players on the team, which means that they run the show, yada yada. What I believe that what I believe that LeBron James will offer to the team is veteran experience because, like people say during playoff time, experience over inexperience. The Sixers they need a veteran player that can add experience to their roster, get them beyond the second round of the playoffs. That's what they need. They don't need somebody that's just going to sit there and not do anything. I believe that he'll be able to have more of a chill time because he's burnt out. When you watch this recent finals bloodbath that he was in, oh, he's done in Cleveland. Like he's a free agent on the 1st of July anyway, but he's done like that. After that game one, after what J.R. Smith did, he was just done. He was just waiting for the next 3 games to be over. He was not mentally invested in it. His energy. He'll be 34 in December. He's getting older. He's not young anymore. Not in his young years anymore in the NBA. He's he doesn't need to go to a team where he has to end up playing 30, 40 some odd minutes per game. He needs to be somewhere where he could play 20, no more than 20 something minutes a game, so he doesn't get burnt out. And that's what the Sixers can offer him because they already have a balanced team where they all play good enough minutes. He should be able to just relax, on whatever team he goes. He shouldn't have to go to another Cleveland where he ends up playing 47 out of the 48 minutes and get burnt out and can't do it. End up having to go to the locker room to go wrap his body up in ice bags. He shouldn't have to do that.
All right. Go ahead, Troy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right. I feel like he'll stunt the growth of Ben Simmons if Ben Simmons doesn't get a jump shot, because then that means LeBron has to play off the ball. He's never played off the ball his whole career. Um, that'd be interesting. But if Ben Simmons can form some type of a jump shot, nah, it's just gonna make the defense even more spread out because you got two players who can handle the ball really well. And if Ben Simmons can find a way to learn how to create his own shot, it'd just be even more scarier. Um, He definitely won't hurt the. He definitely won't hurt the progress of Embiid. That if anything, he'll help it. He won't hurt it. But I'm a little worried about Ben Simmons though, just because he can't shoot. So that means he's not going to be on the ball as much, which means defenses won't have to worry about him that much because they can just leave him open because they know he's not going to shoot the ball.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say. I think he won't stunt. He won't hurt the growth of Joel like Amina and Troy have said. I agree. He'll help it and maybe move it forward. Ben Simmons, I believe, instead of worrying about what Kylie Jenner and Tinashe are doing, he needs to get a jump shot. I hope that his jump shot game this off season is as good as his stroll game with the ladies. I really do. I mean, far be it for me to judge what a 23-year-old millionaire does with their money and does, date who you want to date, but just make sure you hit the gym just as hard. Man, I hope you're learning how to shoot. Uh, I know there's rumors, or that it's not really a rumor because Joel Embiid is in LA right now working with his trainer. There's rumors that you're there with him. I hope so. I hope that Ben Simmons is there learning how to shoot right with him. And I hope that and if he, like Troy said, if he can learn how to shoot, and Ben Simmons and Markel Fultz can split ball duty, because I believe if JJ Redick doesn't come back, Markel Fultz can slide into that shooting guard position, and then that way they can both play together. Might end up sacrificing a little bench stuff, but whatever. Or you just put Roko where he belongs on the bench and let him be the sixth man. I believe that can work too. And I just think that he won't stun it. I believe he'll help both of them, and I definitely believe that if he comes here, he'll be serving more of a mentor role because he's already Ben Simmons' mentor. So if he comes here, it can only help Ben Simmons. I know LeBron James will force him to learn how to shoot, and that's the best thing for him. So moving right along, and we'll go back up top to our last hot take question that we didn't really get to. All right, guys. For those of you that don't know, Tom Brady is showing a different side of himself. He's doing Soul Sundays with Oprah, and he gave Oprah an interview. And the topic of the anthem came up, and Tom Brady said that the anthem protest promoted good conversation, at least in the Patriots locker room and everything. So, guys, do you? I guess the better question is, even though is, do you agree with Tom Brady that the anthem protest promoted good conversation, at least in the Patriots locker room? And also, are y'all surprised that Tom Brady actually has personality and isn't just a robot? Because I always thought he was just a robot with a football in his head. Go ahead, Amina.
Yeah, you said a robot with a football in his hand. That's a new one. We got to use that one more often. Kylan and I talked about this yesterday about what he said, and I actually saw it yesterday morning, but I sat on it because I was like, did he really just say what I think he said on this interview? Because what Kylan just said about the role, it's like when you watch Tom Brady, it's like you like, do he have any emotions or personality? Like, come on, man. I knew something was buried in him that he was just waiting on all these years just to say, and this was his moment. I was like, wow, I should just go hug him. And if you don't know what he said, he actually gave very, very, very positive, substantial reviews and sentiments in regards to the movement that Colin Kaepernick started. I was like, wow, him of all people. So I just want him to continue talking, like keep talking, like want him to keep saying positive things, because I know it's in him. He hasn't been really, vocal about things in his career, so it's like for him to pick this to be his big vocal moment is like, whoa, this must have been really touching his heart for the last 2 years since this movement started. And for his best friend to be our dear president, I don't know how Donald feels about it, but who cares? It's like, wow. I just want to know like how else he feels about other things going on around the globe. I want him to get more vocal. Like, yes, we can learn a whole lot from Tom Brady about Super Bowls and football and how to do this or how to do that in NFL. Sure, but I want to hear him outside of football. I want to know what he has to say, what he has, how he feels, and whatnot. Start getting vocal because I know he got it in him, but you got to break that shell. But this is a start, and I am not surprised that it came out at this time because he's at the end of his career anyway. He's 18 years in, so he's had a lot of football mouths, and he's seen a lot, heard a lot, been through a lot. He knows what he's talking about, and this is his moment, and I'm proud of him for stepping up to the plate and doing what other quarterbacks in the NFL are refusing to do concerning this movement. And I hope that he progresses in his thinking and continues being more vocal and social about this because it's needed. And maybe, and just maybe, it'll change the mindset of Patriots fans because they could be some horrible people sometimes when you talk about Patriots fans. And maybe it might change the culture of Massachusetts as far as where the Patriots play at. Because if their man Tom Brady is vocal about this in a positive light, then maybe they'll break out their shells too and start having some progress going on in their lives. Because this is needed. Like, come on, Tom Brady, step stand up. I give you clap, clap. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. Keep it up. Keep it going. Because if you keep it up, I might go buy your jersey. I'm not, and I'm not even lying.
Oh snap! Seems like Tom Brady earned a fan. Oh snap!
Look, if he keeps up, he needs to go. He needs to be invited to the cookout. We talked about the cookout question last night, but you said not yet.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see if Teroy is with Amina. Go ahead, Teroy.
All right, y'all was kind of breaking up, so I didn't really hear what was the topic about. What did he say? Because I didn't see the interview.
He just said that. He just said that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
He just said that he thought it was good. The protest and it promoted good conversation, at least in the Patriots locker room. So my first question is, do you agree with him? And then the second question is, like I said, can you believe that Tom Brady actually said that? Because like I said, I always thought he was a robot with a football in his head. So go ahead, Teroy.
I'm surprised he actually said it. To be honest with you, I didn't think he felt that way. To be completely honest with you, I just thought he was just worried about football, but everything else was going to take care of itself. So I'm actually surprised that he said it. He said it was, it was a needed and good conversation. That's a start. Maybe Trump will listen because that's like Trump's boy in a sense almost. It was a good start. Very shocked that he said that because I definitely, like I said, definitely wouldn't think that would have came from his mouth. But like Amina said, maybe he's expressing himself more now that he knows he's on the back nine of his career, uh, and expressing how he truly feels. And maybe this is what maybe him saying that is the start of maybe getting things turned. I doubt it because it's really all up to the owners, and the owners don't feel that way. But it's a good start. I'm not going to go to the Mina stretch and buy his jersey. I'm just happy as he he comes to realization that the conversation is needed. But I still don't like the guy. But yeah, I'm definitely surprised that he went out and said what he said because I definitely didn't think he would have said that like that. That would have been the farthest of my imagination is Tom Brady, saying that the discussion needs to be had and that it's a good discussion in the Patriots locker room. I just honestly would have thought he would have just avoided it altogether. So it's definitely a good start.
Well, let me just say that I'm not gonna go like Troy. I'm not gonna go that far as Amina and say I'm gonna buy the jersey, but he did a great job. He like I said, I was surprised because I always thought Tom Brady was kind of like Frankenstein with the football in his head. But I'm surprised. I was like Teroy. I heard it. I saw it on First Take. They were talking about it, and I was all like, "Was this doctored? Did Tom Brady or somebody in the Patriots organization fake this interview? Like, did they? I really was surprised. I mean, not that I think Tom Brady is racist or anything, but all the people who you would think this would come from. I mean, we've seen other quarterbacks like cough cough Drew Brees fail to answer this question right. We've seen matter of fact, I think the only white quarterback that actually answered this right was Aaron Rodgers. If you would have told me there was a quarterback who's white that agrees with the protest and thinks it's good for conversation, I would have said most likely would be Aaron Rodgers because he's the one that's been shown dating Olivia Munn, dating different things. Seems like the most progressive outside of Carson Wentz of all the other quarterbacks in the league. I was really surprised, that it was Tom Brady of all people that said it. And like I said, he's showing a different personality. Like Teroy and Amina said, he's on the back nine, so maybe he's feeling like he can express himself. But I just want to say, since he married a Brazilian, a Latina, we know obviously he's not. He must be progressive because his kids are half Brazilian. They're mixed, so they're mulatto to use an old term. I wouldn't think that he was like that he didn't have good view. They did not have good views on race. So I'm just very much surprised that of all people it came from Tom Brady that he agrees with the protest and thought it was good for conversation. So I guess I gotta believe him because I'm not embedded in the Patriots locker room and I don't know if this promoted good conversation or not. I gotta believe him People have always said he's a good guy. He's a guy that, but I always thought he was about football, about his money. So I was very shocked that this came from him and he showed some personality. And like Amina, I hope he continues to show personality. But I'm not going to go as far as buying his jersey and inviting him to the cookout. He's going to have to keep proving that he's progressive in the public space. And maybe this will bring his boy 45 and Bob Kraft around. We'll see. Uh, but yeah, I see Matt made an appearance then disappeared. Uh, yeah, yeah. So that's about. Oh, we still have one more question. Um, Matt said he'd be right back. We'll see if this conversation lasts that long. Um, our reaction to our boys, Troy and Amita, our boys on Thursday night. Now, we can say the opinions on if you believe that they should have just waited till September 1st. We can save that till later, till next week. But right now, your reaction to the Eagles getting their rings this week. Go ahead, Teroy. I know you've been waiting a long time. Go ahead.
You daggone right, wait a long time. It's still surreal to me that they won, bro. Like I wake up every once in a while and I'll just go back and look at this go back and look at how they won a Super Bowl and just be like, yo, like they finally won. Like it's crazy. Like the fact that they got it now, bro, like it's a dream come true. I love the rings actually. I like the whole salute to the underdog. I like the whole salute to the number of diamonds with the numbers combined in a Philly special. I know Jeffrey Lurie wanted to do a little bit classier, but they didn't go down that route. But at the same time, though, I mean, we're not petty like the Patriots. The Patriots going, I think it was like as many diamonds as they were down by in the Super Bowl or something like that. The fact that we got to like, I wish we could have waited to September 1st, but that's okay. We can do it now. There's no reason to do it. There's no reason to wait. Let these people know who the champs are and who they got to beat, which is us. I love the rings, honestly. I think they're great. I think it solidifies that team, and I'm ready for a repeat. I'm ready to see what we can do this year to go ahead and repeat as champions.
Go ahead, Amina.
Um, First of all, congratulations to my hometown team, Philadelphia Eagles, once again on y'all's first Super Bowl win in y'all franchise history. And the rest of it, saw the rings, saw the videos, and just a continuation of their celebration of winning the Super Bowl in February. Generations of people have been waiting for this moment. I believe when I was actually watching, no, it was not that. It was soon after they won a Super Bowl. It was still in February, like mid February. Some older man, he had to be close to 100. He said on his interview that he saw every single Super Bowl game since the start of the franchise 85 years ago, which was in 1933. I was like, this man really has seen every Super Bowl game ever done. And he was like, yeah, in the interview. And I was like, so this ring means a lot for a whole lot of Eagles fans over the years. And it really means a lot for the Eagles fans that are deceased, that are no longer alive, that didn't make it to see their team win anything. It really goes out to them. It goes out to all the doubters about this team. It really goes out to the NFC East for being the first division in the NFL to have all four teams have at least one ring. It goes out to the city of Philadelphia, the tri state area, which is full of Eagles fans all over Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. This ring goes out to the families of the players, the, especially the parents of these players that raised these raised their boys into men who bought a city their first championship. rings for the Super Bowl. This ring goes out to all the future unborn Eagles fans. They have something to aspire to be for what they call Bird Game. This this they're winning this Super Bowl, especially against the team that they won it against. It meant a lot for Eagles fans. I mean, I've seen some Eagles fans, men Eagles fans, cry that I ain't never seen cry in my life. I was like, wow, this must mean a lot to y'all. And I gotta give hats off. I mean, this is one of those moments, I guess, where faith without works is dead. And this Eagles fan is already rooted. This Eagles fan base out here is already rooted in faith. The whole Eagles organization, as far as the players and the people that work in the front office, coaches, staff, all that, they all have a belief in the higher power God, and they all pray before games, leaving the locker rooms. They're all united in prayer. These have prayer circles. So their faith brought them together. Their faith in one another brought them together. Their faith in God brought them together. And they just went out there, won one game, move on to the next. Like, move one, win one game, move on to the next. And they went off to the playoffs, and here they are with their first ring. So it means a lot. I would have liked to see it. It had been televised, but I saw the little clips regardless. But it means a lot because, like I said, so many Eagles fans did not live to see February 2018. And those that are living to be able to say that I witnessed the first one that ever happened is monumental because not every team can say that. Congrats, Eagles, for doing the thing. Y'all went into the season underdogs. Y'all came out overdogs, and y'all put the haters and the doubters to rest. They ain't saying much no more, and y'all really did it. Y'all came through. Y'all set y'all mind on the prize, and y'all got it. And I ain't got no complaint. Hats off to y'all. Y'all did it. Congratulations, and the banner will be raised at Lincoln Financial Field when the season starts, and it'll be the first ever banner in the stands. So that'd be something to take pictures for Eagles fans to go take pictures at under the banner at the rafters.
Let me tell you something. Congrats to the Eagles for doing the dang thing. I mean, listen, I feel blessed, man. I've seen two championship parades in my lifetime. I've seen one live, one on TV. The Phillies and now the Eagles. Congrats to the Eagles for doing the dang thing, ending the drought that's been a long time coming, ending the no rings joke, and for not. And even though I think it's stupid and they should have waited till September 1st, I am so happy y'all didn't flaunt. Y'all flaunted it. Y'all said y'all wanted our rings to be the flashiest. We wanted this ring to be the most ringed out, blinged out thing ever. I'm so happy that we've gotten to see it. I'm so happy y'all were decent enough to Instagram it because we know if the New England Patriots had won it, they definitely wouldn't have done that. We want to thank y'all for sliding through. Matter of fact, if y'all want to slide through Nicetown, Tioga, come near Bevere Street, slide through to any Eagles players that want to, Eagles players and Eagles people that listen to this podcast. If you want to slide through, you can come to the 3700 block of North Bevere Street and slide right on through. For a fan that's been waiting forever, I thought I'd be like my father, be in my 60s before I would ever see an Eagles title. I thought we'd be on Lincoln Financial Field 2 before we see a title. And I'm so happy that Carson Wentz, Nick Foles, they did the dang thing and did what my favorite Eagle, Donovan McNabb, Brian Westbrook, Brian Dawkins couldn't do. They brought a title to the city. We are happy. This city is more united than ever. I had never seen the city more united. I ain't never been to a parade where everybody was hugging each other, whether you knew each other, black, white, Italian, whatever. We was all just cool. It's just like the wave of negativity and pessimism just left the city when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And I just am so happy that my Eagles won. Like 20 plus years. Y'all know I don't give out my age on this show, but in my late 20s, man, so happy that I got to see this before I turned 60, before we won the ground. So happy. Hope they repeat. I said last week they're going to repeat. I just feel it in my soul. I'm so happy, man. The Eagles did the dang thing. Man, I just can't believe it. Like Amina said, I done seen grown men cry. I done seen people say, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. We're not gonna do no rings jokes anymore. I gotta find a different team to do no rings jokes too, man. This city so united. The suburbs are united. We're just excited, man. The Eagles, man. Fly, Eagles, fly until we die, man. Keep it going. Can't wait till September 1st, even though I won't technically be in this city or this state. I can't wait. I brought my Super Bowl t-shirt yesterday. I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna ride the wave and pay $60 for it. I'm gonna wait till it go on sale, and it went on sale, and now it's about $16. That's definitely what I'm gonna buy the shirt, and I bought the shirt. So I'm so excited. Like I said, you can slide through Nicetown anytime you want, Philadelphia Eagles, and just tweet about it. Let us know. Man, I am just so happy, so excited. Oh my goodness, they did it. I couldn't believe it. I never celebrated so much in my life. This has been a good year for Philadelphia, and next year's going to be even better because we're going to get a Sixers parade and an Eagles parade. Calling it down. You heard it here first. Anybody got anything to add before we get on out of here?
An all Philly finals next year. Warriors versus Sixers. That's what we're going for. An all Philly finals. Me and Kyler want it. We want it. So give it to us, the basketball god.
You heard it. You heard it here first. All right, y'all. Want to thank Teroy for coming through. Want to thank Amina for coming through. Trey for coming through. Unfortunately, Matt couldn't be here for it, but look forward next weekend to hearing or next week I should say to hearing Matt and Trey's thoughts on it. Definitely have a good weekend. Enjoy this summer like weather we got on the East Coast. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated. Deuces.